Welcome to Maneuvering Monday. I'm AK, and this is a summary video of the first 4 chapters of the book, so you can listen to chapter 5 without having to go back. And for this video, I made an overview of the story's characters to help me explain the storyline. So I hope that will be helpful. All right, in the first chapter of the book, we meet Marie. Marie is the head of development HR in the edtech company Zebra Apps, and the problem in Zebra Apps is that a lot of people are resigning each month. So the CEO of the company, Natalie, asked Marie to figure out why this is, and to ensure that she uses her HR magic to fix it. Marie benchmarks the competition and shares the results with the CEO and her own manager, Mark, who's the VP of HR. This results in Mark immediately making a note to install soda fridges. Marie reads exit interviews and she learns that many people left because the company changed in the past year, during which it has grown on the sales side. She's also encouraged to speak to a former employee, Anne, and she learns about a situation with Zebra Apps' star product, Aslo. Aslo is a remote learning system developed by Anne that the engineers of Zebra Apps wanted to use for children displaced by the conflict in Ukraine, but this idea was denied by the leadership team in Zebra Apps. Anne reveals to Marie that Zebra Apps could have in fact offered Aslo to the children of Ukraine at no extra cost, but they chose not to. Anne also challenges Marie to start addressing the failures of the system in Zebra Apps directly. Marie's relationship with her manager Mark in this first chapter is really tense. And towards the end of the chapter, she finds out that Mark has told Natalie that Marie will launch a culture program to fix this retention problem without telling Marie that he would say that. But she decides to just go along and do it. In the second chapter, Marie discovers that Natalie defined a mission statement and company values when she founded the company. And she thinks this is really helpful now that she wants to launch this culture program that Mark promised to Natalie. Marie involves her own team, development HR, consisting of Sheila, Eric, and Joe, in developing the presentation of the culture program for a leadership meeting. Mark has soda fridges installed in Zebra Apps, and an unknown company rebel hangs post-its with insults on all the fridges. Eventually, Mark admits to Marie that he knows the soda fridges will not solve the retention issues, and that he was the one to take out the values from the intro presentation in the company, because he thought there was too much dissonance between the values and reality. He also tells Marie how the other co-founder, Richard, left the company when Zebra Apps got into cash flow problems, and he takes the opportunity to encourage her to win over the VP of sales, Jack, in order to be successful with the culture program. Marie learns that Richard is joining their competitor, Convo Systems, as CTO. Marie and her team facilitate a leadership offsite meeting to work with the values, and Marie's team member Sheila has an uncomfortable facilitation session with the CFO, Frank. Later that same week, Frank retires from Zebra Apps, which is why you can see him in the former employees section. In the third chapter of the book, all of the sugar packets mysteriously disappear from the tables in the canteen. And one day during lunch hour in the canteen, all of the tables are covered in sugar and a banner unfolds from the stairwell reading, "You have sugar on your hands." Marie and Eric try to solve the mystery of who's behind this rebellion and why. And they learn from Shane, who's an engineer who was recently headhunted from Convo Systems, that he recently told Willie, another engineer, about the salary he earns in Zebra Apps, which is twice the amount of what Willie gets paid. Later in the chapter, Willie admits to Marie that he was behind the sugar rebellion. He's a diabetic, and he felt excluded from the company benefits when Mark got the soda fridges installed. And when Shane told him about the compensation difference, it pushed him over the edge. Marie aggressively confronts Paul, who is the head of HR operations, about the salary gaps in the engineering department, and they have a fight about this. After the fight, Marie talks to Mark, who explains that Paul is under a lot of pressure because the CFO, Frank, did actually not resign, but was fired and is now in a legal dispute with Zebra Apps, which is handled by Paul. Mark also agrees to giving Willie a free pass for the sugar stunt. Marie learns from Willie that his compensation issue is not a one-off, and that half the engineers are actually unhappy due to pay disparities. Yes. Jenny is the head of the engineering department, and she also starts to get much more involved with Marie at this point. Marie and her team facilitates a town hall meeting where the employees in Zebra App should work through the company values and what they mean. During this meeting, one of the other engineers from Jenny's department makes a scene and leaves the room. And Jenny admits to Marie that the engineering department is dysfunctional and asks Marie to fix her team. In chapter 4, Mark and his two HR directors, Marie and Paul, spend a full day offsite to share and celebrate failures, with the purpose of starting to solve their department's own dysfunctions. To become a team, Mark shares that he has been fighting the CEO, Natalie, to focus on culture since he started, but that she's so afraid that the company will fail that she will avoid financial risks at any price. Paul agrees to join Marie's arranged HR breakfasts if he gets to bake the cinnamon buns. Marie also learns from Paul and Mark that Anne was fired from Zebra Apps because she was not contributing to the harmony of the company, and that she might not have Marie's best interest in mind. Marie joins the engineering department stand-up meetings, and she gets really sucked into the dysfunctions of this team. And Marie learns from Willie that the engineering department is having serious quality issues with Aslo. And Jenny confides to Marie that she's under a lot of pressure from the CEO, and this is why she's asking her developers to focus on coding software and be really efficient. But this approach has really led to an increasing amount of bugs in the system and really negative customer feedback. Shane is convinced at this point to accept a lower salary to make up for the salary disparity in the team, but unfortunately it was too late, and when communicating the news to the engineering department, consisting of all these people, the crowd simply just completely rebel, and they start to throw bottles at Jenny. Marie faints and is forced by Mark to go on sick leave for a few days. And during this time, she's approached by the previous employee, Jason, who wants to rejoin Zebra Apps because he believes there's hope after Marie has started working on the retention issues. Jack also gets hired at this point as the new CFO. And Jason makes a comeback at Zebra Apps, which is why he's now listed under the current employees in the overview here. And Willie and Shane clean up the basement in Zebra Apps. And finally, towards the end of chapter 4, Eric suggests to Marie that he can temporarily take over her role as head of development HR for a time, while Marie can join the engineering team full-time to fix Aslo's quality issues. And this is basically where we are now. So that was all. You're now ready to listen to chapter 5. And thank you a lot for tuning in today. And just to complete my little character overview here, there's a lot of other minor characters in the story that you can see here, but you will have to listen to the full story to learn who they are.